All right, everybody, welcome back once again, tofuers, haters, mamas, grandmamas, babies, all of that, you know what I'm saying? Welcome back to another episode of Anime Tofu, where we've slayed more anime episodes than all of the kills in Lord of the Rings combined. It's impressive. I am your host, Virgil, aka Meth One, aka Big Bruh, followed by my co-host, Robert Daddy Bojangles. How you doing, my guy?
Hey, what's going on, Virgil? I'm excited to be here for another Anime Tofu, ready to get into what is definitely a weird one. What's going on, Justin?
Hey, excited to be here, gentlemen. Ready to roll. This is a weird one. You're not wrong.
So, I mean, as you all know, as we do all time, we're gonna take a bite of this anime or take a bite of this tofu. We're gonna see how it tastes. We're gonna let y'all know if we should continue eating it or we should just pass it off to the side. Now, if you watched episode 4, these other two might have come off as haters, but ain't got nothing to do with me. Will this anime fare better than the last one? I don't know, man. You got to stick out and see if it's worth the ride. So let's get it started. What is your favorite fictional world that has goblins? It could be a movie, it could be a game, it could be a book, it could be an anime. I'm going to ask this man first, but I'm almost pretty sure, I'm 100% sure that I know what he's going to say. Mr. Longbeard, what you got for me?
Middle Earth, baby.
Oh, I knew it.
It's Middle Earth. It's always Middle Earth. It always will be.
I knew it. Simple, but golden answer. Mr. Daddy Bojangles, where are you sitting at?
It's going to be Kryn from a book series called Dragonlance, one of my all-time favorite book series growing up. They got goblins. One of the first big baddies they run into is a hobgoblin. I love Dragonlance, man. It's definitely the world of Kryn.
I'm going to join Mr. Longbeard on Middle Earth just because, man, coming close behind. And I actually kind of feel that you two would kind of feel me on this. Coming up real close behind would be the world of Mr. Potter. Especially if you played Hogwarts Legacy, because Hogwarts Legacy had a lot to do with goblins. So, that would be my secondary world when it comes to goblins.
A lot of book references right here. I like it.
Yeah. They made the goblins evil in that game. And also, shout out Book References, Nerdy Reads Podcast. Check us out.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Shout out to our folks at Nerdy Reads. Have y'all read? Did y'all do Lord of the Rings?
We did the
Hobbit. Wow. Jinx.
The best, y'all did the best out the series. As much as I love Lord of the Rings, man, those books are a hard read. And it's not because they're boring or anything. The way this dude explains detail, like, do we really need 2 pages talking about the dew on the grass in the morning, bro? We don't. We don't.
But you know about that dude now, though.
I do. I remember it. I definitely remember it.
That's why he writes it that way, dude. He wants that shit to live in your head.
Hey, dude. Speaking of Goblin, go follow Hipster Goblin Media on Discord. That's us.
That is us.
All sorts of good
absolutely
references.
Correct. And check out our people at the Optic Glass podcast as well, since they're doing great things over there. Talking about comic books. Our bite of today is an anime by the name of Monster. Let's get into this tofu bite. We're going to talk about Monster. Our protagonist, literally, the moment that you cut the anime on, is getting killed. Mm-hmm. Killed. There is no, if you ever read any of the write-ups, they're like untimely death. Nah, bro is getting absolutely 100% murdered. Yeah, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Then he's reincarnated as a low-level goblin named, what was it? Gobro.
What up, Gobra?
He's a goblin and he's a bro. Like, it just manages to fit. He has a new awakened hunger that allows him to get more powerful every time he eats. Not only is it every time he eats, he gathers certain aspects of what he eats. Armed with his former memories, his new abilities, and his crazy hunger, we watch him navigate his new surroundings. A little bit of information about Remonster. Remonster is a current 2024 anime. I swear to y'all, we're not just watching what's current. Like, it's just what's being chose. Is it episode? We just on episode 5, so they just started. So it is dubbed and subbed. It is a fantasy adventure drama. Streaming services are Crunchyroll, can be found on Amazon Prime and Apple TV. So we watched, at this point, you know, this is anime 5 of the season, and we watched a lot of different animes. I feel like this one falls into the category. How you feel about this, Daddy? Bojangles?
I'm glad that you said Bojangles.
Pause on the right. Yeah, it wasn't going to be a pause situation.
You stopped it from being a ditty. All right. I don't know if I've stated on this show before, but like I take the anime tofu premise of we watch one episode, let people know if it's something we're going to binge or pass, one episode that's in. I don't even look into the shows. You guys are like, hey, this is what we're watching. There's a picture on Crunchyroll. I click it and I start watching it. What a show to go in blind, man. I mean, what a heck of a show to go in blind. Like there's a dude getting stabbed in the chest over and over. And I'm just like, what? And like the next scene, it's a goblin little baby eating a larva, like violently eating a larva. It turned my stomach, dude. I was eating dinner while I was watching this actually. And my wife was watching it with me and she watched all of 5 minutes, just picked up her book and said, I'm done with this one. So I thought it was cool, like seeing the main character learn he had abilities from his past life. And he even had like a Pokemon element where he could evolve, was interesting. And dude, I liked his name. God, bro.
Yeah, bro. So I like, you know, when it first kicks on, you know, and he's getting slaughtered, just the art style and the darkness of it all. It kind of, I was getting a little bit of a Tokyo Ghoul vibe. I don't know if you guys have seen that at all.
Yeah.
But I was kind of getting that. I was like, oh, dude, this is going to be dark and sinister. And this seems really crazy right here. And then when he turns into the baby goblin and he's kind of narrating himself as an infant goblin who grows up in like 2 hours or whatever it is, I was like, dude, what just happened? You know, and I think we all do the same thing. I think we were making jokes about it before we even came onto this episode, how we don't put a lot of thought into these selections. We're like, hey, have you guys seen this one? And we're like, nope. And we're like, let's watch this for the next thing. You know, it's not like we're sitting here looking at the top animes out there or anything. So yeah, when in blind, this is a very odd show starting out, to be quite honest. Not saying I hate it though. It's just odd. It's weird.
So before I even get into my spiel, probably not necessarily for your kids to watch.
Nah.
It is pretty violent. There is definitely some innuendo of jiggle physics. You don't see it, but there is a specific point to where there is some outline of nude human bodies. This show is absurdly violent, and it's not enough to be like I'm gonna turn away from it, but like it was almost to the point like, bro, chill. Like they were biting into stuff and blood was just gushing it was almost like you were watching a scary movie, bro, and you're like, bro, there's not that much blood coming out that snake, bro. That snake ain't big enough for all that blood to be coming out, bro. You gotta chill. I love the combat aspects to where they were working together as a team.
Yeah.
You know, I almost think though, like our main character maybe he was a vampire in his past life or something. Did you notice the fangs?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice the fangs.
Well, there was one point where it showed him like in his past life. I know the name, but I'm not mentioning it just to the sake because it was never mentioned in the episode. I only know the name because it was in the write-up. Like it's on the write-up on Crunchyroll. But it was just weird, dude. Like he had these really long fangs, and you know, I think his ability is super cool that whatever he bites into, he eats, he takes abilities from what he eats. And I think that's great. It's weird. it's really, really weird. And that's wild coming from an anime point of view, like, hey, this is weird. But I mean, I was interested enough, man. I can't say that I wasn't. I would like to know why Goblin. That seems like a very weird choice to me. Out of everything that you could pick, why Goblin?
There's also unicorn bunnies.
I noticed the unicorn.
Dude,
They said the unicorn bunnies are violent. It was like, yeah, somebody just got killed by a unicorn bunny yesterday. I was like, wow.
They didn't have to cut the horn off old dude though, man.
He used it to stab another unicorn bunny.
I
mean, he had to make a weapon, right? He had to make a weapon, dog. Shout out to the orcs looking like moblins from Legend of Zelda. So we definitely know that is part of this show's influences. So I mean, let's talk about, while we're talking about this first episode, this world. Y'all buy into it?
Yeah, from episode 1, I think that it's interesting. I think it's cool. I actually like the creatures in it. Like we said, unicorn bunnies, cool looking wolves. The orcs are a little weird. Let's be honest, they're pigs. But it is what it is. I thought it was cool. I thought it was interesting. It's one of those things. I like fantasy worlds anyway. The world doesn't bother me. It's something I could be drawn to. One thing I forgot to say when you asked me a question earlier is the tone of this anime does feel a little strange, a little bit. Like there's parts of it where the character feels like this like heroic kind of light type moments, and almost like where they try to fill a little bit of comedy in there. But man, there's also some parts where, like we were saying earlier, it's real dark. You're like, what am I watching exactly? Like, am I supposed to laugh? Is this dude supposed to make me feel like, oh, hey, this is a good thing? And then 5 seconds later, it's like, oh, dude, this is really kind of weird and sad. I don't know. It's just different. The world itself, though, fantasy world, I buy into fantasy worlds pretty quickly.
I thought the world was interesting enough. The premise of the show, like the whole reincarnation thing, this is my first time like messing with something like that. So I'm still not sure if I'm sold on that concept. This is by far one of the weirder things I've tried. But the overall world, the animation, the creatures, that stuff's pretty cool. Like Justin said, the pig orc thing was cool. The unicorn bunnies, snakes, all that stuff. Yeah, it's interesting enough.
I want to know more about it. So, I mean, that's one of the things, like we seen that he is reincarnated, and then we seen him get marked out pretty early, but like he seemed humanish at first, but I'm not 100% sure if he was a human. And he was in the midst of the city when he gets marked out in the first, like, it looks like he was in Tokyo or something like that. So I'm kind of wondering, like, I want to know, like, what is he? What is it, a game? Like, is this their real world and that just something that happens is that they get reincarnated? He said at one point that as an orc, time passes super quickly, and that the leader orc is only like 20.
Yeah. And
I think the max time we got in there, he was like 3 months old or something like that.
Right.
And he reached, what is it? He said he changed when he reached level 100.
Yeah.
He became a hobgoblin. So he actually completely changed what he was. And I kind of wonder, like, I want to know, like, what is the end game of this? What's the purpose? I'm definitely interested. And that kind of brings me to this next question. Concept, man, like, this is a wild concept. It ain't really a wild concept, maybe a wild concept for an anime. I mean, we were playing a video game. Mega Man's been doing this for like 40 years at this point. But how do you feel about this concept of him in an anime form? What do y'all feel about this being able to eat something and take I guess
some powers.
Right.
Yeah. Well, so, to me, there's a couple of different concepts in this. There's that, and then the concept of, hey, he's had a past life and he's reliving his life again, which I like that concept. It was in Faraway Paladin too, but they gave up on it. It feels like after like the first 10 episodes, they stopped referencing that he was from the past. which in this, because of the fact that he is able to eat things and get powers because of who he used to be, I feel like they found a way to make it relevant to who he is now within this show. And I like that. And I actually think that's a cool way to get abilities. It just feels like a cool broken. He's going to end up being like a, One Punch Man type thing where he's just going to be unstoppable. I feel like by the time it's all over, but I kind of dig it. I think it's a cool concept. I think it's interesting. It's a fun way to do it. I'm in.
Daddy Bo.
This is my first time watching like a reincarnated as a X, Y, or Z anime, and I know that like genre of anime is popular right now. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's gonna be my jam, but that's why I'm doing this show. Step out of my comfort zone and find new stuff. The concept of eating to get powers is interesting and unique. So we're gonna get to watch this dude just eat things for the whole season. It's gonna be pretty gross. One thing I really did enjoy was that the story was told like in days. It's like day 1 is a goblin, day 2. And I like that progression of goblin baby to hobgoblin over that 2-week span and the way that unfolded.
There's one thing that I want to bring up that really, really bothered me. And it's me being kind of an amateur chef and, being the seasoned god out here that is big bro. One, they don't be seasoning nothing. And 2, this killed me out when he was like, don't worry, all the meat. We learned how to cook all the meat by the village chief. And I was like, wait a minute, what? When did y'all cook anything? Did I miss something? Like, did y'all set a fire, buddy? I ain't never, if it is like, everything that y'all eating is bloody as all get out, bro. Like, like y'all was biting into stuff and it was just blood gushing everywhere. I'm like, how was it cooked?
They were having unicorn bunny tartare, man.
Bro, if they was gonna have some tartare, bro, at least hit it with the salt and pepper, bro.
Like, we're gonna season those slugs with the slugs. The first thing they ate. What are you gonna season that with?
Oh, dude, that actually turned my stomach.
You hit that with the salt and pepper too, it'll shrivel up, and it may not be so gushy, but I mean, help them out. Help them out.
Why'd they have to zoom in and you seen the slugs like little legs creeping into his mouth when he was biting into the thing?
I almost feel like that the grotesque part is just part of this show. Like it was definitely a choice.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's definitely a choice. I like the concept. It's different, it's different from an anime standpoint. Like if this was a video game show, then I wouldn't care. What's weird is that the characters, except for him, seem to know they're self-aware that if this is a game, you can see your level by tapping on your forehead twice.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he gets a new power, it tells him. When he was asleep and he changed, it was telling him. And he was like, I just chose yes because I didn't really feel like reading it, which is wild because that's something as gamers we do all the time.
Sure.
100%.
We're taking this bite. It's time to take this bite and throw a little bit of seasoning on it.
All right, it is time for us to season the tofu. Everybody knows what the deal is. We ask a question. Everybody has 1 minute to answer it. Some of these are just absolutely unhinged at times. So let's go ahead and get right into this. What would you eat first if you could eat something and gain their abilities? Virgil.
I know. As a black man, y'all would probably expect me to be like chicken.
Wow. What? Dang, dude.
Nah, y'all.
What abilities would you gain from a chicken, though?
It's a good question. I don't know.
You're going to gain their ability. You know what I mean?
I do want to ask you a question. Does it have to be something that's real, or are we talking fantasy?
You know what, bro? Let's just go all the way with it, dude. It can be fake. No,
let me get one of them dragons from Game of Thrones, my guy. Don't matter which one. Let me get one of them. Like I just
There you
go.
I need one of that, bro. It don't matter which one. I just need one.
Oh, dude, if it could be fantasy, we can take the real out of the equation. I'm eating Aaron Yeager, Paul, so I could become the Attack Titan. That's what's up.
Hey, bro, I know. Did my man say he would eat another man, bro?
Dude, he just went straight to cannibalism. Like, what the heck?
Hey, bro, I'm gonna be real honest. I'm gonna be real honest right now, boy.
I don't think anybody's topping cannibalism.
I'll be the
Daddy.
coordinate.
Eddie Bo Diddy Jangles.
I paused myself after I said it. Hold up.
Hey, you paused yourself for a totally other reason other than a valid one. Because the valid reason was cannibalism. You know what I mean? Like, we're just talking cannibalism.
Hey, dude, I'm trying to get all those calories.
Man said he was like, I'd eat the whole other man. Wait a minute, bro. Like, that's not what we, wait a minute. No,
if I eat Eren Yeager, I get the Warhammer ability. I'm the Attack Titan. I can see into the past, present, and the future. I mean, bruh. What's not to love? That's what's up.
The crazy thing is we're making fun of them, but if you've ever watched Attack on Titan, I mean, that's pretty much how you get.
I mean, everybody's a cannibal on that show.
Right. You got to be 8 to become a Titan. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. We just give you a hard time. Bro.
All right. Let's let Dave Bojangles have a chance to redeem himself. Do you have any prediction as to why they need human women for reproduction if there are goblin females?
First off, that scene jacked me up. You just see a ton of women, females, or human females and
pregnant,
and it like in chains, like they're in a storehouse. I actually, bro, I didn't really know if those females were pregnant or if they were just a little thick. What's up? I don't think they need the humans for that. I think they just like to have the option, and it kind of gave a levity to the goblins of this universe are evil. And goblins are generally perceived as inherently evil in fantasy lands anyway. So I think they just put that in to be like, hey, these guys are evil. Look, they take humans, specifically females.
Even though they're kind of bros to each other.
They're bros to each other, bro, because that's their race. They don't give a damn about nobody else.
Right, taking care of each other, but you're saying they just want to make sure they're evil to the world. I get that.
That's right,
Virgil?
Sure. I'm going to go with this. I got two things about this. One is in a lot of fantasy areas, some creatures can't procreate that way. And even though they do have females, they may not be able to hold the same way. And the problem could be is gestation. If they don't live long enough, then you know what I'm saying? Then that could be a problem. The other thing might have to be that in order for them to evolve and become different types of goblins, they may have to mate with different types of creatures, you know, kind of the way that the aliens work in the Alien series. Like you may not be able to become a hobgoblin if two goblins have a child. You just stay a goblin and you may miss out on that change.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it makes them live longer if they meet with humans. I don't know.
Facts.
Yeah. Could be some weird stuff. All right. Would you be interested in an anime about our protagonist in his life before goblinhood, Virgil?
Yeah. I have so many questions. Like I said, he seemed like he looked human, but I don't think he was human. And it was almost like he was a vampire or something.
Sure.
And we know that this absorption thing was something that he had prior in the past, which makes me think even more that he was a vampire, because that's one of those things that vampires do. Or even hell, like that's what they did that's what Saiyans did in Dragon Ball Z. So
I'm not interested in his life now, so no.
Look at this guy.
All right.
Listen, dude, we went after Newgate last episode. He's like, remaster? Nah. All right. We saw the main character be able to check his level, and he was able to check out his new abilities. We talked a little bit about some of that just a little bit ago. Do we have another video game brought to life anime in your guys' opinion, Robert?
Yeah, I think so, dude. Like maybe like when you die in the game he's playing, you get reincarnated into something else. Maybe there's not like some whole other life. It's all make believe, and that's what's going on in this world. I kind of got that feel, especially when the goblins like check your little head to see your level, and then every time he eats something, the screen goes to black and it pops up like what the ability is. It's very video gamey.
I mean, he's right. Like, I mean, even if it is the real world, there's too many video game aspects to think that it's not going to be that way.
Yeah.
I mean, we're leveling up. Anytime you hit level, and I ain't talking about, they're getting stronger. I mean, like, they have actual levels. Like, you know, we watched him go from like 1 to 100. So yeah, he's right. I'm gonna have to agree with him. It's a video game. It's a video game.
See, I've watched all his solo leveling, and you know, he was able to do things that other hunters weren't able to do. via getting into menus and stuff. Is that correct, Robert? If I remember right.
Yeah.
And a part of me wonders if they have taken a chapter out of that book for this anime, and we're going to end with some sort of, like you guys are saying, video game or simulation type of thing. All right. Got any hot takes or closing thoughts?
I got a hot take.
All right.
It's going to get weirder.
I don't know if that's a hot take. That take came from the freezer, my guy.
I think it's going to get weirder, and I think it's going to get far more. This is the hot take. I think it's going to get far more violent. Far more violent. And I'm talking about we're to the lines of the torture prawn, bro. I think we're going to get to those lines eventually. And that may, I don't necessarily think it's needed, but I feel like that's just where the show is going to go.
I don't guess I have really a hot take for this one. It's just like the weirdest anime I've watched in a long time. I think it's the reincarnation thing for me, boys. I've never messed with this genre before, so that's what's weird for me.
Justin, you got anything? You got a hot take or a closing thought?
Well, here's where I would stand. Here's where I would stand on that with the reincarnation part. I'll make that my last take and final thought on this. Is if they stick to it, I think it's more interesting. There are a couple animes I've seen that do this, and it's part of the trope. And then somewhere down the line, it feels like it gets lost because the person just becomes a part of the world, and that's fine. I feel like this, if they stick to it, I would be more interested in it. Versus if they lose the thought of like, oh, hey, he used to live in the past, now he's here. Like I said, Faraway Paladin, they did that. And like, I really was liking that at the beginning because it's like he's this kid, he's born again. And so everybody thinks he's a genius or whatever, which he was pretty smart anyway. And then it just gets lost. The trope gets lost. And so, yeah, if they stick with it, I'd be more sold on this for sure.
I hope they play into the whodunit aspect, or at least the revenge aspect, and he tries to go for the person that killed him originally. So hopefully, if they drop the ball on that, bro, that would really, really suck, and then that would just make the show not worth it. So while we're talking about this bite of tofu, is it we putting it out to pasture, we binging? Or is this booty, bro? We flushing it down the toilet. Where are we at, man? Where we at?
Robert, I'm gonna let you answer this first. I feel like I know your answer.
Well, man, I like how Gabro, first, I like his name. I like how Gabro can eat stuff and get his powers. Like, that's a cool, if albeit gross, twist. And if reincarnation shows are your thing, you might find something here to enjoy. I'm not going to be continuing on with Remonster. I'm going to pass on this one.
If I continue this one, because we have so many other anime that we're continuing right now, if I were to continue this one, it would be solely for the fact that I am so taken back by how odd it is. I'm like, how much weirder could this be? I'm going to keep going. So I don't know if that's enough to keep me watching it. I don't know. I'm still a little bit on the fence of whether or not I'm going to continue this one.
I like it. But it's not one of them things that, like, I'm just like, my God, I love it. I need to watch it. And I mean, it's a take it or leave it type thing. I might be doing the dishes or something and I'll have it playing in the background, but it ain't like one of those things that I must watch. I may give it a few more episodes here and there. So drop these scores, man. Score wise, I give it a 72.
Woo! That's generous. All right. See, I'm trying to be real conservative with my scores because we went crazy there for a minute.
Yeah.
We didn't go crazy.
They were just good.
They deserve what they got.
That's true. All right. So I'm going to give this one here 53.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and rate this one a 50. I'll go middle of the line, and I'll even concede that my rating is going to be middle of the line, because if this type of premise is your thing, the reincarnation show, that you will probably like this show. I just have a hard time getting past that concept for whatever reason.
Well, and I'll say this too. I think that my rating could significantly shift in a couple more episodes if I were. Same way with last week's Newgate, like the Newgate. I feel like my rating on that could shift significantly with a few episodes, depending on what they do with it. So, but from first episode, we're basing this on one episode. We took the bite. Initial thoughts, 53.
That gives an average score for Remonster at 58% from the Anime
58.
Tofu crew.
It's just a wee bit higher than last week's episode of the Newgate.
Man.
I really don't care what you say. You can watch 4 more episodes of Newgate, and that animation's still gonna look like it came from Temu, bro. I stand by that, bro. We out here getting these Wish versions of animes, bro, and I don't appreciate it. Like, maybe we shouldn't have started on that. And like you said, and the crazy thing about this, and I want to reiterate this to all you tofuers and everybody out there who watches this, is that like we just randomly choose. Like, and it's wild that it just happened to be that our first 3 were so good.
If you have an anime you want us to do, comment with it, bro. We'll check out. Hey, if we haven't watched it,
get some shine to some animes that may not get seen. Let's get into the weird category of Crunchyroll, because we're definitely there.
Oh, we there.
Today's episode, we're there.
We stepped into the club weird with this one. 100%.
Now, I mean, there was one anime though. Shout out to Mr. Daddy Bo. He sent this. I don't even remember what it was, but I just saw Jiggle Physics and this dude holding this girl, and I was like, bro, I'm not watching that, dog. Like, I'm not watching nothing where my significant other is gonna be like, what are you doing? I'm not doing that, bro. Like, I can't, dog. Like, I can't do it, bro. I can't. So there y'all have it. Score of 58. Was it 58?
Yes, 58.
58. If you want to watch more animes like Remonsters, or if, like BJ said, you like this reincarnation thing, it's a new area for me as well. Justin said he's done a few of it, but he's not been impressed. Maybe this can change if we watch it or not. You got Overlord again. I know we mentioned Overlord last time, which makes me lead. These are what I kept getting when I was bringing up the animes that were similar. Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation. I have so many questions. I really do. Reincarnated as a sword, which I hear good things about. And my favorite one, I almost watched this before we got into this episode. So I'm a spider. So what? Have y'all when you look, did you see this?
No.
It was in like the little things on Crunchyroll, and it was like this little spider holding his ground, bro. Like he was getting ready to throw hands, and I was like, man, I'm kind of wanting to watch it.
All right, bro. I'm looking at some pictures of this, and I wouldn't lie. I'm interested.
Hey, bro, I'm here for it. And then, of course, we bring it back again, which I hear is like GOAT tier reincarnation shows. That time I got reincarnated as a slime.
May have to go check that out.
It's back again. I mean,
if anything's going to get Robert into a reincarnation show,
that might do it, right?
Might be the slide. Or this one, as a reincarnated aristocrat, I'll use my appraisal skill to rise in the world.
Did you say appraisal skill, bro?
Yeah, bro, that's what it says.
What is he doing? Selling houses? Like where? Or is he like what kind of appraisal skills, bro? Where we at? What is this called?
Looking at the details. That's exactly what I just gave you the name, dude. That's the name of the show.
I thought you were reading the synopsis.
No, that's the name of the show, bro.
I did too. I thought, okay, he's reading us a paragraph.
That's the name of the show. As a reincarnated aristocrat, I'll use my appraisal skill to rise in the show. That's the name. That's what's
man.
Whatever happened to animes having like 1 or 2 words, bro? Like these whole paragraphs for animes, bro. I'm not trying to say all of that.
Anime's titles of their shows are getting as bad as emo songs from back in like the early 2000s.
That does sound like a Fall Out Boy title, bro. You're wrong.
So now that we done took this bite, we done seasoned it up for my mans over here. Time to throw it to my other mans. Time to sizzle it up, my guy. What you got for us?
Cartoon Network. And I'm leaving the sound on for this because I believe you need to enjoy it. I'm sorry, audio listeners. They brought back Toonami. An intro for it, which you can see here.
Close your eyes and picture this.
You've just gotten off the bus and you're racing to your TV.
He has a name, and I forgot what it's called.
Homework can wait.
For Toonami Rewind.
Yeah, dude. How awesome is that? So basically
That's
what
cool.
they're doing is they're going to take all these old school animes. They're starting out with Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Kai, and Naruto, I believe was the third one. And they're going to basically from Friday from 5 to 7, they're going to have a Toonami rewind block where they're going to show these animes. And they haven't said, I don't know if it's going to go off in like chronological order or if they're just picking classic episodes, what they're doing. They've only had 1 week of it so far. I'm hoping we see like some Gundam Wing.
Is that Outlaw Star?
It is
Yeah.
Outlaw Star.
Outlaw Star.
Outlaw Star.
That's good.
Bring back all the old ones. Yu Yu Hakusho, Tenchi Muyo. Yeah, dude, G Gundam. I want to see some of this stuff, dude. And plus, Toonami had the best promos back in the day, without question.
He did. Man, Outlaw Star, bro. That's one of my favorites.
Julio right there.
Yeah,
dude.
You know, the thing about we talked about, and we may actually end up doing this, you know, in the future. We talked about having an episode talking about Toonami and Adult Swim and the impact that it had on anime, because that was a lot of people's first introduction to anime. And you know, that was where I was introduced to Inuyasha and the Big O. I love the Big O. As we talked about Kaiju, I was a fan of the Big O and Outlaw Star, and it's been a bunch of stuff. Even recently, I watched Ninja Kamui. It was an Adult Swim anime. So, you know, one or two things are going down with this. One, nobody's watching Toonami or Adult Swim anymore because it ain't good. It ain't good no more, bro. It ain't good like it used to be. And another thing is really weird that I forgot the name of the robot character, but they actually made a show and they kind of sent him off. So I'm wondering if they're gonna, like, if this is just a random piece of him being back, or if there's a reason, like, because they sent him off. And it was a really good show and good storyline behind it. So kind of wonder how this plays out. I might check it out.
You know, that you mentioned that, dude. I forgot about that. Forgot about them sending him off. But I do remember that being like an official, like sort of a big deal when he signed off for the last time. So that's interesting. Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, I thought it was nice. Like Toonami's coming back, dude. That's how I got a lot of my. Why even show? That's how I got my anime back in the day. Before I had a computer with internet, I could get on Kaza, and I remember Justin's brother Rance. We would download Neon Genesis Evangelion. He had the manga, and we would download it on my Kaza and infect my computer. But the internet took so long to download one episode, we could only watch it once a week because that's how long it would take to get the episode downloaded. So
that was how I watched a lot of what was that? Not Evangelion. What was the other one? The other they've shown almost every single version of that show too. Endless Waltz and
Gundam.
Yeah, they showed they showed 5 or 6 different versions of Gundam all the way through. And that was how I watched some of the more major story arcs of Gundam. Because like you said, we didn't have access to internet. And bro, let me tell you what happened. I wasn't spending $200 to get no tape of no 3 episodes, bro. We wasn't doing that. Nah, bro. Nah.
So I'm looking at all of the there were total right now, looking at the Toonami titles on this IMBD or whatever. There were 146 total.
That's a lot of anime, bro.
On here, you know, Samurai Champloo, all the stuff that we're used to, that we've seen, like all the big ones. But dude, there's some really obscure titles on here of stuff I just haven't even heard of or never seen. But yeah, dude, this is awesome.
Yep.
And you know, maybe to get a new generation interested in the anime.
Yeah, my only fear with that is like in today's world, like, dude, we got Crunchyroll. We're doing a show called Anime Tofu where we have the luxury of being like, hey, look at this guy. He's reincarnated as a goblin. Sure, I'll watch this for 25 minutes. Like, we have thousands of different animes at our fingertips. I don't know what Cartoon Network expects from this. Like, you might get a huge jump for that first week for nostalgia's sake, but bro, I ain't gonna sit down and watch. If I'm gonna revisit Dragon Ball Z, I'm watching Dragon Ball Z with the original soundtrack and the voices I like. Dragon Ball Kai, they had a different music. The music's not even the same, and they cut out like the filler to make it accelerated. That don't bother me, but they got rid of the music, the original score. Like, so I would just watch Dragon Ball Z. I ain't gonna watch Dragon Ball Kai. And as far as Sailor Moon goes, what up? You know, that's fine if that's your thing. Well, I guess it just depends on what they put on there.
Well, the weird thing about it is if you have Max, you can watch all of this stuff anyway.
That's true.
You can just go to Max and just pull it up and watch it. Like, okay.
Yeah, I think it's a cool thing that they're doing it for a nostalgia piece, but at the end of the day, like in 2024, who's watching program anime when you have Crunchyroll, Netflix, Amazon, Hulu?
They may also be trying to dig into like the user base of cable television too, which I'm assuming is older generations.
Oh, that's a good point.
Who might be into saying, hey, I want to revisit Outlaw Star or an old school Gundam and watch it on this Toonami that I used to watch it on when I was, 20 or 30 years old,
That was my play. That was my play.
Speaking from your age group there, dude, that's good. It's nice to get that.
Bro, shut up. You ain't even that far removed. Get out of here.
I was about to say, he's always popping off, dude.
Next week's episode, we are digging into the slice of life, gentlemen, because I don't think anybody's going to be getting karate chopped. Next week's episode, we are talking about, and this is random. This is my pick. I'm excited about this. Bartender, Glass of God.
Heck yeah.
So many questions. So many questions. So just a precursor. Next week's episode is probably going to be a little bit more adult themed due to, the alcoholic content of what we're going to be talking about. So fair enough.
Yeah.
Y'all good? Everything cool? So you know how I got to end the show. And we're going straight to Robert because I know better. I'm learning. Any final words? Any final words, Daddy Bojangles?
Man, I don't really have a final words for this one. This is the weirdest anime. And I just finished watching an anime where humans eat other humans to get Titan powers. And this show was still stranger than that.
And we learned that Robert would eat a human to get powers.
Hey, bro. Right. He said he would eat the whole man, too. Like, whole man. He let him eat a whole. That's the key word is whole, bro. Like, man.
Y'all gonna start calling me the coordinate, too, after I do
this.
Hey. No, sir.
Laziness is such an ugly word. I prefer selective participation. That's a quote from Devil is a Part-Timer.
That's a great show, by the way.
Yeah,
it's a great show. I watched it. And it's a really good quote, especially considering that I'm going to go with that's probably about 65% of our watchers out there. Let's not lie. We fall into that category at times.
Selective participators?
Selective participator, bro.
Heck yeah, bro. Nothing wrong with that. Words to live by.
Speaking of more words to live by.
Uh-oh.
It's getting hot outside. And your breath is proof of that.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Please make sure you hydrate and brush your teeth often.
That's good. Those are words to live by right there. Don't selectively participate hygiene and hydration.
Especially your breath. Man. And why, when your breath is extra hot, you want to close talk. Don't do that. Bro,
even when your breath
95 degrees outside, bro. Don't put your 114 degree breath that smells like old tuna fish on anybody. It's unfair.
Wow.
It's unfair, dog. It's unfair, bro. Smack that with some scope. Smack that with what you call them, the Listerine strips. Smack it with something.
But not brown rice.
Peace.